Alright guys, for this next project we're going to be creating a lip-synced animation using Adobe Animate. And we're going to practice the techniques of how to sync up lip movements with an audio file. I'm going to give you a pre-existing audio file to choose from. It's going to be several different poems. And I'm also going to give you some pre-drawn different characters that you can pick and choose and change up. Now, with that said, if you want to alter or change the characters in any way, I'll give you that ability to do that. If you want to animate more than just the mouth, things like the eyes or the eyebrows, to have them move as well, I'll let you do that. But the main thing, just to keep it simple and easy to do, the main thing I want to see animated is the mouth movement of your character to sync up with the audio file that you choose. To give you a little bit of a preview of what this should look like, here's mine that I worked on.
To a mouse, on turning her up in her nest with the plough, November 1785. Wee sleekit coor and timorous beastie over a panics in thy breastie. The needna start a war sae hasty wi' bicker and prattle. I would be loath to run and chase thee wi' murdering pattle.
Alright, so the reason I chose that particular poem is simply because the language is a little bit more complex than a regular English poem. I promise they're not all that complex, but I wanted to show you that it is possible to do this regardless the audio or regardless the words that are used. You can always sync up the lip movements to this one. That was Robert Burns's To a Mouse. If we look down at our timeline, you get kind of an idea of how this will be laid out. Your audio will be in a layer by itself. The lips, since those are animated, you can see all of the different keyframes of where the lip movements are changing. And so as it moves across a word, we're going to be syncing up that word along with whatever sound is being made. For mine, I also animated the eyebrows and the eyes, moving them up and down or blinking the eyes, and so you can see there's some keyframes with those. If you do want to animate other things, those just need to have their own separate symbols and also their own separate layer. Finally, there's of course the body and the background that has their own layer. So let's look at some of the files that you'll download when starting this project. I'm giving everybody a different set of poems to choose from. So if your file folder has an A, B, C, or D, just know that you've got a different set from what others can pick and choose from. If you open these up, each of the poems is saved as an MP3 file, and you'll also notice there's a star system that I've put off to the right-hand side, just starting off the word. What I want you to do is to animate 5 stars worths of poetry. So if you look at these, poems like Annabel Lee or To a Mouse, they have 4 stars simply because they're longer poems. If you wanted to do a quick and short one, you can choose one of these 1-star poems, but you'll have to do a couple of those. By the end of it, you should have roughly a little over 2 minutes worth of poetry all animated out. When you do these, do one file at a time. So if I wanted to get 5 stars worth, I could choose maybe this 3-star and then one of these 2 stars. And then I've got 2 of them created. Or I can do a 4 and a 1-star. Any combination that you want is what you'll choose from. The final thing is I'm also giving you 2 different Illustrator files. One will be a background or characters for men, and one will be a set for women. And you, like I said, you can pick and choose which character head and body fits best for it, and you can change them up as necessary. If you do want to add to these, let me open up the men and show you how this is set up. If you look at the layout of this file, open up the Layers panel, and you can see each of the characters has their own separate layer, and that layer is labeled what it is. So head 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And they're also grouped together. This is going to be very important when you import this artwork into Adobe Animate to keep everything together and to keep it simple to select. So if you do want to create these or create your own or change these up, just make sure you keep everything inside of its own layer, and that layer is named separately and everything is grouped together. Okay, so with this, let's close out and actually start the beginning processes, I won't say this, of setting up your file and creating it in Animate.